What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So it turns out that the JoyCon situation isn't quite finished yet. While the design still seems to be the same inside, Nintendo at least has been replacing people's JoyCon controllers that are drifting. Kind of. See, there are regions that actually don't have that program at all, and today we're going to go back through and talk about that because that is something I keep getting messages about, so I figure we'll bring a bit of a light to what's still happening right now around that situation. Also, Astral Chain got its first reviews, and it's looking pretty good so far. So we have all of that, some Gamescom stuff, and a few other things to go over with today, guys. As always, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to hit the like button. It does help out. Share the video and get subscribed if you want to stay up to date on all things gaming that's always going on. There's just so much stuff constantly happening throughout the week, and do this every weekday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We're actually going to start with a bit of a follow-up to a story from yesterday, which was that PlayStation 5, it seemed, the patent that was kind of made public, and people started pointing it out and trying to figure out if that crazy, wacky design could possibly be the PS5 itself just being revealed accidentally. Well, it turns out that probably isn't the case. In fact, we actually had a game developer on Twitter, strangely, Matt, as you're seeing here, strangely just say that it is a dev kit and they have them. It's an odd thing to do if you're under NDA. I don't know if that was like a joke or something, but Wario64 also seemed to retweet it and then say that apparently that is the dev kit. So you must, I guess, know the person. But hey, they say they are a game developer and everything. And that at least kind of reinforces what I thought it was, which was a dev kit. Dev kits can look kind of weird and wacky and don't at all generally reflect the final design of the PlayStation 5. But the good news is I don't think we'll have to wait much longer. I think they're going to do some kind of reveal event early next year, 2020, probably in February. Also, since Gamescom is going on, we have games getting a bit of a spotlight in lengthy gameplay sessions that are recorded and uploaded to different media sites. And, well, it looks like we had some Battletoads gameplay. I'm going to show you some of it here. This one's from Gamerside, and we got a bit of a problem here with Battletoads. Now, look, I will say this. The animation, I think, looks pretty good. I think it's fairly fluid looking in terms of the character models moving and everything. I think they look okay for what they were shooting for, which seems to be the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles style. The problem I'm seeing here is that the game looks ridiculously slow. Like, Battletoads is pretty fast, and this looks like it's underwater. And the other strange thing is the hit detection seems to be off completely. So I'm a little concerned about Battletoads now. I seeing this, what they've shown here, doesn't look good. So I'm hoping that they take some time to improve it a bit. Otherwise, it might be one of those games that just kind of gets pushed out the door quietly and then forgotten about. And unfortunately, that might make Microsoft reevaluate the idea of taking some of the older IPs that they have and bringing them back up. And I hope that's not the case for some of their other ones. We also had all of the characters from Mortal Kombat 11 that's coming out revealed, and there's some good ones in here. We already heard about Spawn, of course, but check this out. We had a full trailer, then we had a slide that was put out letting us know when you're going to be able to get each one. And yeah, you see the Joker. That's kind of cool. We're going to talk a bit about that, though. But the trailer they showed was pretty cool, and it looks like we have Shang Tsung that's available now. Nightwolf is also available now. Terminator T-800. Terminator seems to be in like everything now, but October 8th. Sindel is coming November 26th. The Joker is January 28th. And then they are holding the best for last. Spawn, March 17th. The Joker looks kind of weird. I've seen some people say it looks like a create-a character, kind of. I don't really know why they went with that design. I don't know. Maybe it just fit better, they thought, with the design of how the game looks and everything. Spawn looks great. I think out of all of them, like, Spawn looks awesome. But yeah, Nightwolf being thrown in there, I think is good to see as well. But I think it's a pretty solid combat pack for different characters being added in, and yeah, I think that's gonna get people excited to jump in, other than the Joker design. But either way, it's still really cool to see everything about it. We got the Joker, and then we got Spawn and Terminator all being added in, so that's pretty neat. Also, very quick, if you missed it, the Dragon Quest XI S demo is available on the Switch eShop currently. You go download it, your progress will carry over, and it looks like the demo is very long. Like, some people are saying it's like 6, 7, even 8 hours long, depending on what you're doing in it. So it's almost like they just put out a good chunk of the game and said, hey, here's Dragon Quest XI S. Get ready for when it comes out next month because your stuff will transfer over. So this is a great chance for anyone who has never tried Dragon Quest to take a shot. I think it's a genius move to put this demo out because I'm seeing people who have never really played RPGs or gotten into them just trying it. because it's there and you could download it and see what all the hype's about, and some people are actually getting into it and enjoying it. This is a good move for the Dragon Quest series, and I'm really hoping Dragon Quest XI-S gets that second win that Dragon Quest XI unfortunately got ran over by Spider-Man, so we'll see next month, but the demo is a great idea. Go download it. And guys, some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start with this Joy-Con situation. Of course, we know the Joy-Cons have a problem where they will start to drift, as in it'll start to move without you actually moving the joystick around. It's been recognized by Nintendo at this point, as we've heard of things like internal memos going around saying, hey, if they call and they say there is an issue with their joystick on their Joy-Con of drifting, just replace it. Don't ask questions. Just say, hey, we got to get this new joystick to you, this new Joy-Con to you. You're gonna ship it to us. We're gonna switch it out and send it back. No questions asked. It's been pretty straightforward, actually, for most regions. But there are some regions that apparently it's not as easy to get this done at all. Now, of course, I'm in the US, so Nintendo America has been very good about this. I wouldn't have any problems getting it done. And some people are even reporting that they were able to change their entire Switch out for the newer Switch, although that's been kind of touch and go and spotty at best. But the Joy-Con drift issue is known, class action lawsuit, the whole thing. Here's the issue, though. Right now, it appears that Nintendo Europe is not actually doing any of this, not honoring it. And that's kind of a problem, considering part of the company recognizes the problem. They have basically said, yeah, that's an issue, we're going to change it out. But then another part of the company does not. In fact, they actually have some options, it seems, for customers to go through. This was all corralled by Nintendo Soup, and they had a large list of things that you can do according to several accounts, where Reddit will have different accounts pop up at times, forums, message boards of people trying to call in different regions of Europe and everything, and they get these options. So you can pay 45 euros to get the Joy-Con repaired. You can refuse and request for the Joy-Con to be destroyed, so they'll smash with a hammer. I could do that. They should hire me for that. Refuse and pay 15 euros for Nintendo France to return the Joy-Con. Or you can retrieve the invoice that proves your Joy-Con is within 2-year warranty period and send it to Nintendo by mail. So we have some issues here, obviously. If you send it in and they say, hey, you're not under warranty, you have to then pay them for them to ship back to you, or they can just smash it if you want. Otherwise, though, it seems if you at least have some kind of paperwork saying you bought it within the last 2 years, you should be good to go. But a lot of people don't technically save the paper receipts. I guess if you have it through an email confirmation, it'll be okay there. But that's the problem. Other parts of Nintendo are saying, hey, you're good to go. We'll change it out again, no questions asked. But not Nintendo Europe. I don't know why that's the case. As far as I've seen so far, parts of Latin America have been able to change these out, as well as Nintendo of America. And I think I've seen Canada as well change these out without any issues. I need to follow up with Japan, Nintendo's branch in Japan, to see if they're doing that as well. So if you're watching and you're familiar with the situation over there, let me know down in the comments. I'm very curious. I'm unsure why this is not just a policy that's been spread all over the company right now, because it's obviously recognized by the company, but not every part of the company. It seems very disjointed, and it does kind of lean into the idea of this being kind of a last minute, like a crazy, like behind the scenes decision after that class action lawsuit, doesn't it? It kind of lines up. So maybe there needs to be more lawsuits. I don't know, but hopefully in Europe, they can get all this resolved, because it's definitely not a good look overall for the company. Next up, let's talk about Astral Chain. We got our first review for it, and it's out, of course, next week. I'm looking forward to picking it up. I think it's a great-looking Platinum game so far from what I've seen, and I've seen a lot of gameplay. There's been a lot of previews, a lot of gameplay, all kinds of stuff, commentary from the developers, what they were going for. It's definitely not being hidden. You know, sometimes we'll get that situation where you won't see much about a game that are in reviewers' hands or people who are doing the previews, and then you hear the embargoes for the day the game comes out and all this stuff, and you're like, wait, what's going on here? Not the case for Astral Chain. I feel like I've at this point played through half the game, but looking forward to it next week. And we got our first reviews. It's from Famitsu, and check these scores out. It looks pretty good so far, I would say. Astral Chain got a 9, a 10, a 9, and a 9 for a 37 out of 40. The other notable one, I guess, would be Ononaki, that got a 31 out of 40. Unfortunately, that game is very polarizing right now, with some outlets giving it bad scores and other places giving it good scores. That one's kind of all over the place. To be fair, though, right now, with everything I'm playing, I might have to skip Ononaki for now. I'm kind of covered right now in games, and then I'm looking for an Astral Chain. Control is out next week as well, so what, Control is Tuesday, I believe Astral Chain's Friday, and then we go into September, and good luck in September. It is out of control in September. So it's like every Tuesday and Friday there's a game coming out, and then you have more indie games thrown in there and digital games. So yeah, it's gonna get out of control. But I'm definitely keeping an eye out for Astral Chain. Looking forward to it. I think it's worth a pickup. I'm gonna be curious to see what the sales are for it. I'm thinking it's gonna end up being at least a multi-million unit seller, but how far? Because Nier has sold very well, right? That's like, what, 4.5 million copies or something like that. I don't think Astral Chain's gonna get to that level. But I could see it selling about half of that. I think that's very possible in its lifetime. And I think that'd be a success for Platinum and Nintendo. I don't think they have like these crazy, like 10 million units selling expectations. So I think either way, from what they're putting out, it should be successful. Next up, let's talk about Monster Rancher. We've talked about this a bit. It has been confirmed that it's coming to the Switch sometime this year in Japan. But I told you guys, I'm not really sure how they were going to go about having you summon your monsters, because generally you take a music CD, you pop it into the PlayStation 1, which is a really cool idea. I kind of miss those crazy and weird ideas from back in the day, but that was a really cool idea. It would read the number of tracks, the time, and everything, and then some CDs would actually have pre-programmed monsters already in the game. So as soon as you popped it in, it would read it pretty quick and then say, boom, you got this rare creature. Well, it looks like they're gonna try to keep with that idea, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be as good. So this was taken from Famitsu, translated, and we actually had Silicon Era give us a bit of a briefing on how this is going to take place, saying, in order to acquire monsters through generation, you'll get to use the network's database to search for CD names and then have monsters generate from there. There's a chance you can get rare monsters from checking out music from back then as well as the latest tracks. So I don't really like the way that sounds. What it sounds like is you're going to use the database in the game and you're going to search for songs and CDs and albums and stuff, and then it just spits out a monster. So as soon as we figure out which disc or CD gives us that monster, it's just going to be all over the internet. So unfortunately, I'm really not sure how else they would do it, because you can't put a disc in your cell phone, you can't put it in the Switch. You could put it in the PS4 or the Xbox One, and then you also, at that time, have to go hunting for CDs, because we've all given up physical CDs for iTunes Music or whatever else you're doing, downloading them, I don't know. But we don't have CDs now like we did back in the mid-90s. This is not the case. So unfortunately, it seems like they're not really able to figure out a better way, and we're just going to be searching for songs and CDs in order to search for monsters. So I guess the one good thing is, it'll be really easy to get them. Once we figure it out, we just pass around the information and we have all the best monsters in the game. And our last bit of news, let's talk about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I haven't had a chance to talk about this that much because there really hasn't been a lot of information. I mean, there's been some little bits here and there, and I'm kind of putting some of it together from some of the information we've learned recently during Gamescom and some other events that took place the week before. But I will say this, I'm getting more and more excited for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot than I was when they first showed it and talked about it, because it sounds like this is going to be a very interesting story, I'll say that, for even veterans of the series who already know the story, because they're adding more stuff, like new stuff. They even have a new character, and they're even throwing in stuff that's, sure, it's going to be more like fanfare stuff, but I think it's going to be just fun to have it in there. So what's happening? Well, first, it looks like it is at least going up to the Cell games, because remember originally people were like, I think it might just be the Frieza Saga one. No, it looks like it's at least going up through the Cell games, could possibly go into the Buu Saga. We'll see about that one. But we're also getting a new character that is designed by Akira Toriyama. So like straight up, he's made a new character. Here they are. It is actually a member of the Ginyu, ex-member of the Ginyu Force. This is Bonyu, former member of the Ginyu Force, will be introduced in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. This brand new character designed by Akira Toriyama will make her first appearance in a short subquest. Apparently the subquest is fairly important with her in it. So I like the idea of a character that was in the Ginyu Force but quit. That could be an interesting kind of like bit of a side story there to find out more information about why that is. I like that. And here's the other fun part. Do you know how we had filler episodes throughout Dragon Ball Z? Well, One of the filler episodes is actually going to be included in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and that is specifically the one where Goku and Piccolo attempt to drive, or learn to drive and take driver's ed. They had screenshots of it, and I love this idea. I love doing these little, because these are things that, like, the longtime fans will understand, right? Like, this is obviously a nod to fans and saying, hey guys, we're throwing this in there. It might not even be the best level, but you guys know what this is, so let's throw it in there. I also like that they're not taking the game 100% seriously, and they're gonna have these little things in there. That's fun. So yes, I will play that. I assume it's like a side quest or something, or just part of the story kind of off to the side, you know. I will play that. That will be fun. And then I'll get on and we'll take down Cell and everything. But overall, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. It's coming out next year, and I'm looking forward to it. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day. We're seeing here, this one's from Liam. This was talking about that PS5 dev kit. I think the V shape of the PS5 model is for Roman numeral of 5. And I thought about that too. What's interesting about that idea, let's say they are going with PlayStation 5, but it's the V. What would be weird about that is they've never gotten really away from the number, like the numbers. They've done just regular PlayStation, right? But then they went to 2, 3, and 4, but they've always used just the straight up number. If they go to Roman numerals, then it's like a letter for some people. Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a change. It's going to be a little weird. People don't really like change, I'll say that. And the marketing might be a little odd too, because yes, people will read it as PlayStation V. This, you know, is the way it is. I feel like the safe route is just PS5. Also, PSV could be PS Vita to some people, right? So yeah, maybe the V is just their shape for the dev kit because they're being fancy about something that only developers will see. I don't know, but apparently that's the dev kit. It makes sense for airflow, I guess, and it looks like a V, Roman numeral for 5. So there we go. But yeah, I think they'll stick with just the standard number 5. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, the like button really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it is Nintendo being kind of spotty with their Joy-Con replacements with the drifting issue. It seems like a good time to get that all worked out going into all of the releases that are happening, because there are quite a few. It's just odd that it seems very fragmented internally at Nintendo for who gets their Joy-Con replaced and who doesn't. And some of those prices, or just asking you to break your Joy-Con, is a bit odd to me. Also, what do you think about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot? Very curious about that. Or even Astral Chain, looking pretty good, coming out next week. I'm on that one. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.